The Bambu Lab P2S is here, and I am super excited to have this machine in my print farm and to be able to show you some of my favorite features. Now, I'm no stranger to Bambu's line of printers. I've had the A1 combo, I've got 4 A1 minis, including one combo unit with the AMS Lite, and I've also got my OG, the P1P, which I've had for close to 18 months now and have put almost 4,000 hours on it. Just to give full transparency, Bambu did send over this machine to me at no cost, but they aren't getting to see this video before you are. If you like what you see and you want to grab one for yourself, I do have an affiliate link in the description below, and it's also pinned in the comments section. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does help out the channel a little bit. Now, the P2S, in my mind anyway, combines the best from the P1 series machines, coming in at a great price point for both hobbyists and print farms, and the features of the X1 series with the upgraded 5-inch touchscreen, similar to what you'll find on the new H2 series. It also features automatic flow calibration like we have on the A1 and A1 Mini, spaghetti detection using the new 1080p HD camera, and a whole lot more. The P2S has a bunch of new upgrades over the previous P1 series, one of which being that previously mentioned 5-inch touchscreen, probably one of my favorite upgrades so far, and one of the things I wasn't super fond of with my P1P, hence the aftermarket touchscreen that I added to it last year. The P2S comes with a similar nozzle swap system to the A1 series, so there's no more messing around with thermal paste or routing wires just to change a clogged nozzle. It's as simple as removing the silicone sock over the nozzle, unclamping the old one, and replacing it with a new one. And it all can be done in about 30 seconds. The P2S also has a new adaptive airflow system, which draws in cool air from outside of the chamber to significantly improve on cooling for PLA and PETG printing, so there's no more cracking the door or cracking the lid open when you want to print with those types of filaments. Part of this adaptive airflow system is an automatic flap that helps keep warm air inside the printer if you're printing with an engineering grade filament that needs a warmer chamber, like nylon, ABS, or ASA. And it also includes a large internal carbon filter to provide cleaner and safer air quality when using the printer in an enclosed area. Now, one of the issues that I run into sometimes on my P1P is buildup inside of the purge chute, better known to most as the poop chute. On occasion, during a longer multicolor print, the filament can get caught in just the right direction, causing that bin to fill up with purged filament over time, which either leads to the nozzle scraping on it and dragging it back onto the build plate, or worse, the front cover coming off mid-print, which ends up throwing an error code in the slicer and on the screen. The P2S now offers AI detection, similar to what you'll find on the X1 series with spaghetti detection, so if your supports break off mid-print and you start air printing, the HD camera will detect that and pause the print to let you know something isn't quite right. It also has what they're calling purge chute jam detection, which can see that filament is backed up in the chute and pause the print. In the same area of AI detection, the new camera can also detect when there's a print or a foreign object on the build plate before you start your next print job, so you won't ruin the previous print, or worse, damage the print head or the machine if you accidentally start a job without removing the old one. Now, something that's pretty huge for me, because I tend to do quite a bit of filming of the prints that I do, is the upgraded lighting system in the P2S. The P1P and the P1S have a light, but it's on the left side of the machine only, and it's really not super bright. So I end up needing to bring a few auxiliary lights over to make it easier to film inside of these machines for these videos. The P2S now has upgraded brighter lighting, and it's on both the left and the front of the machine. And you pair that with the new HD camera, it makes for some really nice time lapses without needing to sacrifice one of my other cameras to capture the print progress. Not only that, but now we're not monitoring the print with 1 or 2 frames per second. It's actually more like 30 frames per second, which is a really nice addition. Now, the P2S comes standard with a hardened steel nozzle and hardened steel extruder gears, which means you don't need to spend anything extra when you get the machine to print with stuff like carbon or glass fiber reinforced filaments. Now, one of my favorite new filaments to use has been Polymaker's HTPLA glass fiber. The finish is nearly perfect, shows virtually no layer lines, but printing with it over an extended period of time on one of my A1 minis with a regular stainless steel nozzle has started to wear it down a bit. Now, of course, there are upgrades for that as well, but it is nice to see that the P2S comes with these upgrades right out of the box. The P2S is being offered as a standalone machine for $549 in the US, or you can get the combo machine with the AMS2 Pro for $799. The AMS2 Pro also doubles as a filament dryer, makes it super easy to fix any potential clogs or broken pieces of filament, so there's no more disassembling the entire inside of the unit just to get to those PTFE tubes. They're all easily accessible right under where you load the spools. The AMS2 Pro also features automatic venting, so when you're drying your filament, it helps to prevent any moisture from building up inside the AMS. Now, with the P1 and X1 printers, in order to use more than one AMS system, you needed to purchase an additional AMS hub to connect the other PTFE tubes into it. The P2S now comes standard with the ability to hook up 2 AMS systems right out of the box. And this upgraded design allows you to print using 5 colors with one full-size AMS system and a smaller AMS HT. On top of that, you can now use up to 4 AMS or AMS2 Pros and 4 AMS HTs to print with up to 20 colors at a time, up 4 from the previous generation of printers, which could only do 16 colors at a time. I'm not sure how I would actually fit 8 different AMS units in my space, but if I needed to, the option is there. Now, the P1P has this little lip at the front of the machine, which is nice for attaching things like the farm loop lifter for automated printing, but makes it a pain in the butt to clean out dust and little pieces of filament that evidently get trapped down there. The P2S fixes that with a flat base with a tiny little swoop, so there's no more lip that traps all of that debris inside. Now, one thing I thought was really cool, and by now I think it's just called Uncle Jesse proofing it, is the shatter-safe front glass. The glass on the front door is now protected by a film, so just in case tragedy strikes and the glass breaks, that film helps to keep the glass in place, sort of like the windshield does on your car. Now, if you're familiar at all with the X1 or the P1 printers, you'll know the build size is advertised as 256 millimeters cubed, but because of the filament cutter location, you can't actually use the full 256 millimeter build plate to print with. There's a little exclusion zone in the front left of the printer that limits a square print to around 245 millimeters. The P2S uses a brand new cutter design that is actuated by the XY gantry itself, so when the machine moves back to a certain point towards the poop chute, it flips the filament cutter open and allows the filament to be cut. And when it moves back forward, it closes the cutter back in place so it's not in the way. This means you can now print using the entire 256 millimeter build plate size. And speaking of build plates, because it works off the same 256 millimeter architecture, all the previous build plates that you might own from your A1, P1, or X1 machines are compatible with the P2S. That means I can use my SuperTac, my CryoGrip, my cool carbon fiber plates with this machine without having to invest in a whole new set of build plates. It should be noted though that the P2S features a new plate recognition function, and the older build plates aren't supported by that feature. But given they are the same size, you're still able to use them. Just know that the machine will give you a notification that the build plate selected doesn't match the one in the slicer. You can easily ignore that though using the touchscreen. Now, the nozzle on the P2S, similar to the previous generation, heats up to 300 degrees Celsius and the bed heats up to 110 degrees Celsius. The new bed design also rapidly heats it from room temperature to 65 Celsius in about 45 seconds. With that new rapid heating comes a bit of a trade-off. At max power, the P2S will draw around 1,000 watts at 110 volts, or 1,200 watts for the 220 volt models. Although once the bed and the nozzle are fully up to temp, it does drop off to around 200 watts during a normal PLA print. The new hot end also allows for the max flow rate of 40 millimeters per second cubed if you decide to upgrade to their new high flow nozzle, up from the P1S's 32 millimeters per second cubed. Now, the max printing temperature with the high flow nozzle is advertised at 350 degrees Celsius, up from the standard 300 Celsius. While the standard nozzle included with the P2S is a 0.4 millimeter hardened steel nozzle, which technically supports printing with carbon and glass fiber reinforced filament, it is recommended to use a 0.6 millimeter nozzle or larger when using fiber reinforced filament to prevent any clogging. The max speed of the toolhead is now 600 millimeters per second, up from the previous 500 millimeters per second, although that is just the advertised max speed, and most of your prints are going to take place in that 250 to 300 millimeters per second range by default. And I've never really seen a need to push it beyond that. I'd much rather see a clean print than a faster print. I mean, 300 millimeters per second is still around 6 times faster than my old Ender 3 could print at. The quality isn't even comparable. As you might have noticed throughout all of these B-roll shots, the color scheme on the P2S is also different from the previous generation. It now comes in a lighter matte gray color, similar to what the H2 series, and a little bit darker than the older X1 series. I actually prefer this lighter color for a few reasons. One, my entire shop is pretty much black, so it stands out a little bit more, and two, I really just think that the matte gray looks much sleeker than the older dark gray or black color on the P1 series. The P2S, like all of Bambu's machines, works on their closed architecture, so everything works like you would expect. Kind of the Apple of 3D printers, if you will. You have the ability to print with the Bambu Handy app right from your smartphone, or you can use Bambu Studio and send jobs directly from your computer. If you're somebody like me who enjoys using a third-party slicer such as Orca Slicer that isn't officially supported on the Bambu line of printers, but you can still slice the file and copy it to a USB flash drive to start the print that way, or you can send it using the Bambu Connect software. Something really cool that Bambu Lab has done with their newer machines is called Skip Object. Say you're printing 4 or 5 parts and one has the support break loose mid-print, or even the print itself breaks loose. Within the printer's touchscreen, the Bambu Handy app, or Bambu Studio, you have the option to skip a certain object and continue printing the other 3 or 4 parts, so you're not wasting time in filament because of one little failure. Now you've heard all of the official specs of the P2S, but I wanted to take it a little bit further with them. And although this comparison won't be 100% accurate because I don't have a P1S to make that comparison, I wanted to see how the sound levels differ from the previous generation. So for this, I downloaded a simple decibel meter app on my iPhone and took a few samples from both my P1P and the P2S. To make the test as close as I can, I don't have any other machines running at the moment. Both machines are going to be sitting right next to each other. And I've also opted to leave the door open on the P2S, given that the P1P is completely open. So although it's not a one-for-one comparison, it should give us a pretty good idea of how loud each machine is during startup, first layer, and mid-print. So the one that I want to test first is for the P2S, and that's because I actually need some risers for the AMS system on the P1P. Within Bambu Studio itself, we can go to the home page and go to online models, and then we can search P1 risers. Now I've used this riser before and I know that it works pretty good, so we're going to go and download and open this one. Bambu Studio automatically recognizes that we have the P2S as our current connected printer, so we can switch over to that. I'm just going to resync, and we can print this using PLA Basic, hitting number 2 on the keyboard after selecting our parts. If you didn't know that, you can switch between your project filaments just using the keypad. I am going to print these at a 0.26 millimeter layer height just to speed it up a little bit. We'll do 2 walls, should take about 2 hours and 29 minutes. So we'll be able to see startup, first layer, and mid print. All right, so I've got the door open here on the P2S, and I'm just gonna set the decibel meter about 18 to 20 inches away. So it seems like with the door closed, it dampens the sound by about 10 decibels. So that's one thing to take into account, is if we weren't comparing this to the open frame P1P and we were comparing it to something like the P1S that had an enclosure on it similar to this, it'd be about 5 to 10 decibels quieter. So during startup on the P2S, it looks like we're averaging about 55, 56 decibels with a max of 73, depending on the operation that it's performing. I think the loudest part is probably when it's homing the machine and the filament cutter is being actuated. Normal bed leveling right around 50 decibels. So I'm gonna let this thing finish its bed leveling process and we can actually take a listen and see how loud it is during a print. So about 55 decibel average, 54 decibel average on the first layer with the door open. If we close the door, right around 45 decibels. So again, closing the door will dampen the sound by about 10 decibels, so keep that in mind. So averaging about 50 decibels, maxing out at about 59 decibels with the door closed. And right around 63 decibels with the door open. All right, the P2S finished up printing the risers for the P1P. I'm gonna print the same exact model using the same exact filament. That way we can kind of take a look afterwards and see which machine performed better. We're also going to take some readings from the P1P so we can compare them to the sound levels on the P2S. So it gives me the same estimated print time, about 2 hours and 39 minutes, even though this bed is going to take a little bit longer to heat up. By this time on the P2S, our bed would have already been at the 55 degrees for this Bambu Lab PLA Basic. Right now we're sitting at about 25. Okay, so during the startup process on the P1P, it looks like we're averaging about 54 decibels, maxing out around 65. A little bit quieter than the P2S, and I think that's due to the way that the cutter gets actuated on the P2S. It creates a little bit more noise when the X and Y gantry moves back, whereas on the P1P, you don't have that. We will wait for this to finish up though and see how the first layer sounds, and then we can move on to second layer mid-print. So it looks like on average about 44.5 decibels, maxing out at around 54 on this first layer. This is gonna do the same thing on the other side. We'll wait for it to finish up on this first layer and come back and do one more final check on the second layer when it starts moving at full speed. All right, and averaging about 53.5 decibels on the second layer or at a full speed, maxing out at around 63.3. All right, so I've taken the same side from each machine. On the left, we have the P2S, and on the right, we have the P1P. First, taking a look at the one from the P2S, it's super clean. I don't notice any printing defects on it. As far as top surface quality goes, it's really, really clean. A little bit of fuzz on the side there, and the bottom surface looks really good too. This was printed on a regular textured PEI sheet. Again, overall, really clean looking print on the P2S. As we move over to the P1P, again, top surface looks really, really clean. I do notice a few little tiny VFAs. Bottom surface was printed with the cryo grip plate. Nothing to complain about either of these prints. If we put them side by side, again, P2S on the left and P1P on the right, they both look equally as good. Both of them have a slight VFA as these little parts stick out, so you can kind of see it right there and right there. It does look like the one printed on the P2S is slightly cleaner on the left-hand side. I see some bubbles or VFAs on this one, but again, nothing really to complain about. Looking at the bottom side, super clean, a little bit cleaner on the P2S, but unless you're really looking for it, it's nothing you can really see. In person, I can see some more little lines on the one printed on the P1P, but unless you're looking at it at just the perfect angle, it's not really something you can see with the naked eye. So again, both printers performed just as you would expect any Bambu Lab machine to perform. Really happy with how the P2S did its prints, and again, the P1P held its own doing its own print of the same exact thing. We used Bambu Lab basic PLA in black for both of them. In fact, I used the same spool, just swapping it to the P1P. So just a quick look at how each of these machines handles the same exact print. So that is my first look at the all-new Bambu Lab P2S. It is officially available for purchase in the United States as of yesterday, Wednesday, November 19th. So if you've been waiting to pick one of these things up, I'll have a link down in the description below so you can go do that. And just a reminder, Bambu Lab's Black Friday deals are still going on until December 5th, 2025. So if you've been meaning to pick up a P1S or an A1 Mini, something like that, those are all on sale. Again, link is down in the description below. They've also got some pretty good bulk deals on filament. So be sure to check that out if you've been waiting to pick some stuff up for yourself. And again, a huge thank you to Bambu Lab for sending over the P2S. It's definitely become my favorite printer in the shop. It looks the sleekest to me. It's got the really nice touchscreen, the updated camera, and the lighting, not to mention the enclosure on it, so it's a little bit quieter when the door is closed than the P1P is. That's gonna wrap this one up. If you are interested in seeing more 3D printing content, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up to let the YouTube algorithm know that you enjoyed this type of content, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.